Hello, Dark Readers. Welcome to the Dark Side of the Library podcast. I'm your host, Katie, and with me is Creepy Carrie, my favorite. So today, we're going to be talking about some new young adult releases that are coming out in April 2023. YA and kids tend to be at least my favorite podcast episodes, I think, just because it's usually hilarious. I love them. So I'm excited to present to you our first book. I'm sorry, Carrie, I'm hogging the spotlight a little bit.
I'll talk eventually.
I'm sorry. Okay, so we have a book with a gorgeous cover. Make sure to tune into our YouTube channel as well if you want to see the book covers. That'll kind of, I guess, you'll be more inspired to at least check these out yourself. So this first one is called A Hunger of Thorns. This one is being released on April 18th. It is by Lili Wilkinson. So it is a witchy tale about forbidden magic and missing girls who don't need handsome princes to rescue them. I know.
I'm buying it right now.
And it's a gorgeous cover. I love moths, and it's very colorful, whimsical, Luna moth. I love it. So Maud is the daughter of witches. She spent her entire childhood running wild with her best friend Odette, weaving stories of girls who slayed dragons and saved princes. Then Maud grew up and lost her magic and her best friend. These days, magic is toothless, reduced to glamour patches and psychic energy drinks found in supermarkets and shopping malls. Odette has always hungered for forbidden, dangerous magic. And 2 weeks ago, she actually did go searching for it. She's like, okay, I'm done. We're going to find this awesome magic.
We all have a friend like that, right?
I think I am that friend. So now she's missing, of course, because you just don't go searching for that all by yourself, Odette. And everyone's saying that she might actually be dead, except for Maud. Storytelling has always been Maud's gift, so she knows all about girls who get lost in the woods. She's sure she can find Odette inside the ruins of Sicklehurst. This is an abandoned power plant built over an ancient magical forest. Oh,
wow. No. I thought you were going to say burial ground, but forest is even better.
Yeah, and I'm sad there's like a power plant on there. This is a place that nobody else seems to remember that is there. The danger is no one knows what remains inside Sicklehurst either. And every good story is sure to have a monster. So this sounds appealing, and I think you and I both are in. This is called A Hunger of Thorns. This is by Lili Wilkinson.
I forgot to welcome our guests that are watching live. Welcome to the Dark Side of the Library.
Hello.
My first YA book today is Bianca Torre is Afraid of Everything. It's by Justine Pucella Winans. 16-year-old Bianca is an avid birder, undergoing a gender identity crisis and grappling with an ever-growing list of fears. Some are like fear number 6, initiating conversation. They are forced to watch birds from the telescope in their bedroom, and occasionally they watch their neighbors. So when their gaze wanders to one particular window across the street, Bianca witnesses a creepy, plague-masked murderer take their neighbor's life. I think they mean plague mask-wearing murderer.
Oh, that's cumbersome.
So worse, the death is ruled as suicide, forcing Bianca to make a choice. Succumb to their long list of fears, including number 3, murder, and number 55, breaking into a dead guy's apartment. That's an oddly specific fear.
Yeah.
Or investigate what happened. So Bianca enlists the help of their friend Anderson Coleman, but the two have more knowledge of anime than true crime. As Bianca and Anderson dig deeper into the murder with a little help from Bianca's crush and fellow birding aficionado, Elaine. Fear number 13, beautiful people. Feel number 11, parents discovering they're a raging lesbian. The trio uncover a conspiracy much larger and weirder than imagined. And the killer, as they do, catches wind of the investigation. Suddenly, Bianca's number 1 fear of public speaking doesn't sound so bad compared to the threat of being silenced for good.
Oh.
This sounds like a very interesting read. And it is Bianca Torre is Afraid of Everything by Justine Pucella Winans. And I want to point out, it is by Clarion Books. They are an incredible publisher that doesn't just publish any old book. Grade levels 9 to 12, reading age 14 to 17 years. And it comes out April 11. Came out.
My next book is called The Cherished. Sorry, I'm losing my voice all of a sudden, of course, as I have to talk. This is by Patricia Ward, and this came out April 18th. The cover of this book really reminds me, Eric LaRocca does not do YA books, but it's the same art style as his books. And his books are very eerie. So and the cover is really sinister.
Are those dragonflies or butterflies or both or moths?
I think it is a little bit of both dragonflies, moths, and butterflies. It's really it's beautiful, but interesting. So if you like the Hazelwood or Wilder Girls, or if you like Midsummer, the movie, you will probably like this book. So here's what it's about. Jo never expected to be placed in her absent grandmother's will, let alone be left her house. Oh my goodness, can you imagine that? Just a young lady with their grandmother's old house.
Is it full of creepy dolls?
Oh, I hope not. She does give her a letter that has these mysterious demands. So upon arriving at this inherited property, things start to get weirder. The tenants mentioned in the letter are odd, just slightly off. Jo feels something dark and decrepit in the old shack behind the house, and the things that her father used to talk about, his delusions. Why is Jo starting to believe that they actually might have not been delusions at all and they were real? But what Jo fears most is the letter from her grandmother, because if it's true, then Jo belongs here in this strange place and she has no choice but to stay. So very obviously ambiguous. It sounds intriguing. I will probably pick this one up. This one's called The Cherished by Patricia Ward.
My next book has an unusual title. It is Funeral Songs for Dying Girls. It's by Cherie Dimaline, or Cherie. I'm not sure how to pronounce her name, sorry. It came out April 4. So here's what it's about. After inadvertently starting rumors of a haunted cemetery, as you do, a teen befriends a ghost in this brand new young adult novel exploring grief and belonging. So Winifred has lived in the apartment above the cemetery office with her father, and he works in the crematorium, and she's lived here all of her life, close to her mother's grave. With her 16th birthday only days away, Winifred has settled into a lazy summer schedule. Oh, I miss those days. She's lugging her obese chihuahua around the grounds in a squeaky red wagon, and she visits the neglected gravesides, and she's nursing a serious crush on her best friend, Jack. Oh, we've all been there. Her habit of wandering the graveyard at all hours has started a rumor that Winterson Cemetery might be haunted. It's welcome news since the crematorium is on the verge of closure and her father's job is being outsourced. But now that the ghost tours have started, Winifred just might be able to save her father's job and the only home she's ever known. And she'll be able to stay close to where her mother is buried. All she has to do is to get help from her con artist cousin to keep up the rouse and somehow manage to stop her father from believing that his wife has returned from the grave. But then, and here's where it gets extra interesting, Phil is the actual ghost of a teen girl who lived and died in the ravine nearby to the cemetery, starts showing up. So it actually is haunted. And Winifred is questioning everything she believes about life, love, and death, especially love.
Oh, okay.
So it's Funeral Songs for Dying Girls. It sounds so good. It's by Tundra Books. Ages 14 to 17-ish, grade level 9 to 12, or goth grandmas in my case. And it comes out April 4th.
My next book is called Giften, and it came out April 4th. It's by Leyla Suzan. This is a dystopian novel.
Yay!
Post-apocalyptic world, sapped of natural resources. Yay! So this is for grade levels 8 through 12. We have 3 different sections here. A blighted land. Ever since the darkening, survival has been a struggle. The people of the field toil on parched earth, trying to forge a life amid dwindling resources. A gift. As one of the Giften, Ruthie is a survivor to or savior to her isolated community. Her hands hold the rare ability to raise food from dead soil, but she is also its greatest danger. We have a sinister regime. In the city lurks a dark army intent on hunting Giften to harness their powers, destroying all who stand in their way. With the threat growing ever stronger, Ruthie and her friends must leave all they have ever known and embark on a quest that will pitch them towards the city, an unknowable danger. On one way or another, the battle is coming. So again, this is a bit of an ambiguous description, but it sounds really interesting. I like it because it kind of has a bit of a fantasy undertone because she's able to raise food from dead soil. So this is called Giften by Leyla Suzan.
That sounds so good. That is right in my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
My next book is called Harvest House, and I wonder if it's a graphic novel because the cover is illustrated. I'm not sure. So there's a creepy house, there's a young gentleman walking away from it, and then the mirror reflection is actually a girl. In the water or something. Let's find out. It is grade level 7 to 9. Harvest House by Cynthia Leitich Smith, April 11. She is revisiting the world of her American Indian youth literature book, Hearts Unbroken. So in this book, Halloween is near. Yay, Halloween. And Huey Wolf is volunteering at a new rural attraction called Harvest House. He's excited to take part in the fun, spooky show until he learns that an actor playing the vengeful spirit of an Indian maiden, it's a ghost inspired by local legend, is going to headline. So folklore aside, unusual things have been happening at night at the crossroads near Harvest House. A creepy man is stalking teenage girls and young women, particularly indigenous women.
Oh.
Dogs are fretful and on edge, and wild animals are behaving strangely. While Huey weighs how and when to speak up about the bigoted legend, he and his friends begin to investigate the crossroads and whether it might be haunted after all. As moon rises on All Hallows Eve, will they be able to protect themselves and their community? This is Harvest House by Cynthia Leitich Smith. It came out April 11.
My next one is called The Hitherto Secret Experiments of Marie Curie. This came out April 11th. It is a bunch of short stories, 20 in fact. We have different writers. Let me see if I can find them all. We have Scott Sigler, Jane Yolen, Susan L. Lambden. I'm trying to see if there's anybody that's familiar to me. Christine Taylor Butler, Shannon McGuire. So there's a lot of people that have contributed to this book. So it says, and it's not just stories, there's poems, and which is very cool. At the cusp of between child and adulthood, at the crossroads between science and superstition, a teen Marie Curie faces the factual and the fantastic in this fabulous collection of stories that inspire, delight, and ask the question, what if she had used her talents for diabolical purposes? This is fun. So this is for grade levels 7 through 9. It's really cool. I like the cover. I'm trying to see if there's anything on the inside. There are some
Is it a graphic
photos.
novel? Because the cover, again, looks like it's illustrated.
Yeah. No, it is not. And there actually are photos from, like, we have the mobile x-ray unit here, which is very interesting. I've never even seen this before. So it's a little historical. I like that they draw some historical perspectives from Marie Curie's life and her experiments. So that's really cool. So if you're interested, this is a great way for kids to be introduced to her as well. This is the Hitherto Secret Experiments of Marie Curie. This is by Bryan Thomas Schmidt, Henry Herz, many other people.
My next book is He Who Breaks the Earth. It's part of the God's Touched Duology by Sangster. It came out April 11, so it's the second book in the series. It's described as Wicked Saints meets There Will Come a Darkness. It's a sequel to She Who Rides the Storm. So this one follows the four thieves that are turned unlikely allies. So Matteo spent years believing he suffered from a strange wasting sickness, but he's finally learned the much darker truth. Now he'll do whatever it takes to save himself, even if it means betraying Leah, the one girl who's ever made him care about something more than his research. It doesn't help that his father happened to kidnap the last living member of Leah's family. Oops.
Oh.
And though it means Matteo will get to see her again, it's only because Leah is already hunting them. Oh, goody. Anway's rage can't be contained after the disaster at the tomb that ended with Knox almost dying. What did I miss in the first book? Holy crap.
Right?
Sounds like you're not going to enjoy this book if you haven't read the first one, so FYI. Each member of the crew has their own motivations and their own gods whispering in their ears. And so Anway gets close to the shapeshifter she's chased for so long and realizes the god's plan and her own might diverge. This is He Who Breaks the Earth, Book 2 of the God's Touch Duology by Sangster, and it came out April 11.
My next book is called The Immeasurable Depth of You, and it did come out April 4th. It's by Maria Ingrande Mora, and it has some pretty good reviews already, and I've seen this book kind of around Book Talk quite a bit, actually. This is a queer coming of age story set against the backdrop of the Florida mangroves. So how do you face your fears when everything is terrifying? 15-year-old Bryn can't stop thinking about death. Her intrusive thoughts and severe anxiety leave her feeling helpless and hopeless. So after her mom interprets one of Bryn's blog posts as a suicide note, she takes extreme measures, confiscating Bryn's phone, blocking her internet access, and banishing her to stay with her father, who lives, quote, off the grid on a houseboat in the Florida mangroves. I don't think that's a good way of approaching that. Like, oh, my daughter, whoever is sad, let's just send her off, like, for real. Anyway.
Doesn't seem helpful.
No, and isolate. So here's the next part. Isolated from her online friends, her only friends, Bryn resigns herself to a summer of mind-numbing boredom and loneliness until Skylar appears.
Hello, Skylar.
Thank you for arriving, because mom sucks. So Skylar is everything Bryn isn't. She's sultry, athletic, and confident.
Hello.
Yes, yet Bryn feels at home around this fearless girl who pushes her to try new things and she makes her belly flutter with nerves that have nothing to do with anxiety. When Bryn discovers that Skylar is trapped in the bayou and can't tell her why, she resolves to free her new crush from the dark waters, even if it means confronting all of her worst fears. Through Bryn's funny, awkward, and sincere narration, this book explores the ways mental health or mental illness can impact your life by centering a character who's learning, sometimes messily, to accept all parts of herself. So granted, this book isn't necessarily super paranormal or horror in a dark way, but I like that we're talking about mental illness, depression, and, LGBTQ plus issues as well, putting it in this book so people can actually relate to it, because I know I've had my fair share of this stuff. So this is The Immeasurable Depth of You. This is for grade level 9 through 12 by Maria Ingrande Mora.
My next book is called The Lake House, and I love creepy books about lake houses.
Yes, you do.
And I'm in a lake house right now.
Yes.
But I'm not on the water. It is by Sarah Beth Durst. It's described as Yellow Jackets meets One of Us is Lying.
Ooh.
It's a survival thriller. The publisher is Harper Teen. It's meant for grade level 8 to 9, reading age 13 to 17 years or 54 years. Excuse me. Claire's grown up, triple checking locks. She's been counting her steps. She's been second guessing every decision. It's just how she's wired. Her worst case scenarios never actually come true, but why wouldn't you triple check your locks? Until she arrives at an off-the-grid summer camp to find a blackened, burned husk instead of a lodge, and no survivors except her and 2 other late arrivals, Reva and Mariana. So when the 3 girls find a dead body in the woods, they realize none of this is an accident. Someone, something is hunting them, something that hides in the shadows, something that refuses to let them leave. I'm in.
Ooh.
I'm in. This is The Lake House by Sarah Beth Durst, and it comes out in just a few days, April 25.
That sounds really good. My next book is Snow and Poison. This came out April 18th. This is by the Melissa De La Cruz, who also did Cinder and Glass. So, love is stronger than poison in this retelling of Snow White. Yes.
I'm in.
I know. This is for Carrie. This is a gift, Christmas. I know. So, known as Snow White, Lady Sophie has led a sheltered life in the mountains of Bavaria until now. Her father, the widowed Duke Maximilian, is at last remarrying, and on the day of his historic wedding, Sophie is making her high society debut. At the ball, Sophie charms the dashing Prince Philip, heir to the Spanish throne. But as Philip and Sophie start falling madly in love, the King of Spain loses his temper. His wish is that Philip would marry a princess, and now his command is Sophie's death. No, Sophie! In a quest for survival, Sophie seeks refuge in the home of 7 orphans, the counsel of a witch, and the safety of her blade. With the looming threat of war upon her duchy, Sophie must ponder, can she do right by her home and honor her heart's desire? This sounds really cool, and I love that it's actually it's a historical fantasy as well. Super fun. So this is Snow and Poison. This is by the Melissa De La Cruz.
Should we worry that I got super excited when I saw the word poison?
I actually kind of anticipated it. Maybe we were both in need of some help.
My final YA book today is called Someone is Always Watching. It's by Kelley Armstrong. Came out on April 11. The publisher is Tundra Books. Our second time Tundra has shown up today in our list. So their lives are a lie. Their memories might not be real. It's a new young adult psychological thriller starring Blythe and her friends, Gabrielle, and brother and sister Tucker and Tanya. They've always been a tight friend group, attending a local high school and falling in and out of love with each other. But an act of violence has caused a rift between Blythe and Tucker. An unexpected burst of aggression and disturbing nightmares have started to become more frequent in their lives. Oh, that's not fun.
No.
The strange happenings culminate in a shocking event at school. Gabrielle is found covered in blood in front of their deceased principal with no memory of what happened. Ooh, you're going to get expelled or at least suspended. So they have cracks in their friendship as well as their own memories start appearing, threatening to expose long forgotten secrets. And we forget secrets for a reason.
Yeah.
These could change the group's lives forever. How can Blythe and her friends trust each other when they can't even trust their own memories? So it's meant for grade level 7 to 9, ages 12 to 17 years. I probably wouldn't let my 12-year-old read something about a dead principal, but you do you.
Yeah.
That's Someone is Always Watching by Kelley Armstrong.
And my final book of today is a sci-fi book, and I'm very excited about it. Yes. It's called Star Splitter.
Ooh.
It comes out April 25th. It's by Matthew J. Kirby. Space exploration, teleportation, and cloning experiments are all themes in this book, so I'm pumped. And it's a survival story. So in 2199, deep space exploration is a reality, and teleportation is routine. But this time, something seems to have gone very, very wrong. 17-year-old Jessica Mathers wakes up in a lander that's crashed onto the surface of Carver 1061c, a desolate post-extinct planet 14 light years from Earth. The planet she was supposed to be viewing from ship orbiting far above. From a ship orbiting far above. The corridors of the empty lander are covered in bloody handprints. The machines are silent and dark. And outside the alien dirt, there are fresh graves, carefully marked with names she does not recognize. Now Jessica must unravel the mystery of the destruction all around her and the questionable intentions of a familiar stranger. I love it. So this is for reading ages 12 through 17, grade level 7 through 9. This is Star Splitter by Matthew J. Kirby.
And that wraps up our Dark Side of the Library Young Adults for April 2023 books. You be sure to check the podcast notes or the YouTube description if you'd like to check out the affiliate links to go over and shop for these or take a look at them. We broadcast our podcast on Wednesdays and Fridays. You can occasionally find us on our Amazon Live. I basically think of it as a TV show nowadays. It's a shopping stream. That's at amazon.com/live/Dark Side of the Library. We're also on YouTube talking about dark books a lot of the time and on Instagram. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.